Are pastors pimping their congregations? Wani, are pastors pimping?
Yes.
Over. End of show.
End of show.
What's the difference between a pastor and a pimp now?
Let me think. They have similar suits on. I'm not sure.
Well, this.
Oh, I know. The pastor does not wear a velvet hat.
So, this dude, Kingdom of God Ministries guy, decided to take up donations on behalf of human trafficking of all things, and the gentleman allegedly stole upwards of $50 million. So the feds kicked in his door and took him and his woman to his colleague to jail. You know what I'm saying, today.
He got batter rammed?
Yeah, well. Oh yeah. It was a white woman he was a partner in crime with.
But he was black and a white woman, and they stole $50 million?
Upwards of 50 million. Upwards, yes. According to the Department of Defense, Department of Justice, DOJ, two self-professed religious leaders who use physical and psychological abuse to coerce victims to solicit tens of millions of dollars in donations were federally charged. So this shit gets worse. So they had allegedly they would what do you call it? Like prey upon human trafficking victims, and they had people doing work for free, and they were threatening to not feed them if they didn't pay or do work. The DOJ says the two defendants, David Taylor, 53 years old, and Michelle Brannon, 56 years old, were arrested today in North Carolina and Florida in a nationwide takedown of their forced labor organization. So they're probably going to get charged with slavery.
Mm-hmm. So they were like extorting people that were already vulnerable? People that were vulnerable?
Right. Down on their luck. Professor Chris,
wow.
I'm telling y'all, man, Professor Chris Hedges wrote a book about this called The Christian. He wrote a book on the Christian right. And Chris said that these type of cult leaders like have a formula down. They work with psychologists to try to figure out good moments to strike, to come into your life. Like if you're going through a divorce, if you just lost a child, if you've been kicked out, if you're combating drug abuse or alcoholism, you just got out of jail. Like these people know what they're doing. So this pastor's way in was human trafficking. So the DOJ says, quote, the indictment of David Taylor and Michelle Brannon demonstrates the FBI's efforts to protect the American people from human exploitation and financial crimes, including forced labor. So they're going to get charged with slavery.
That sounds like they're going to be charged with slavery. These slavery cases are few and far between, but I think as we keep having a lot of third world mentalities over here, even the victims might have a third world mentality, which will make them subject to being abused. Either way, we're going to see more cases of slavery like this.
Yeah. The DOJ say that Taylor and Brennan, according to the indictment, compelled their victims to work at their call centers and to work for Taylor at his armor bearers, whatever that means, Armor bearers were Taylor's personal servants who fulfilled Taylor's demands around the clock. Taylor and Brennan controlled every aspect of their daily living of their victims. Victims slept in the call center facility or in a ministry house, and Taylor and Brennan did not permit them to leave without permission. Taylor demanded that his armor bearers transport women from ministry houses, airports, and other locations to Taylor's location, and ensured women transported to Taylor took Plan B. Oh my God.
They're going to get it.
Oh.
They're going to get it.
I don't think they are going to get it. I think that she will eventually say, I was a victim too. I saw a video where they said, she said she had 2 private attorneys in St. Louis, but she couldn't reach the attorneys. And then they said, well, the phone numbers for the attorneys were out of service, so they weren't real phone numbers or whatever the case may be. So it's unclear if she has an attorney. So if things continue to go a way for her, I think that she may possibly try to flip the script and say, well, I was a victim of his as well. I was coerced or whatever the case may be, if she can possibly cop a plea deal. The other thing that I thought was interesting, and I don't know, Professor, if you've made mention of this part or not, but they had call centers in different states as well. So
Yep.
They were getting raided in different states. So I would be curious to see if this is only just a slavery thing, or if it's a human trafficking thing, if it's a Mann Act thing, or even a RICO case. To me, it's just interesting that his black face is the face of everything. And even as you were just reading certain things about this, he's the person who had the cupbearers or, dressers or whatever these people were. He's the person who had these things. Yeah, she may have been at the pulpit. She might have said some things, but they're saying he's the one who had the property. He's the person who did this. I wouldn't be surprised if he turns around and says, oh, he coerced me. The big bad black man did it. I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. I think white people are getting a little savvy on that. Too many of these broads humping on children in schools. I don't know. We'll just see how stupid white people are at this point. Because these broads are doing a lot of things. They really are. And I've seen them involved in slavery. There was she was an Indian woman, but she was hiding behind a lot of different names. So you couldn't tell whether she was Jewish or Italian. She had a lot of different names, but she was charged with slavery. She really went to jail for slavery. She was holding a Mexican man hostage in her house and making him work for free under armed guards. And he ran away. So she went to jail for slavery. And later I found out the woman was from India. She was working on on that Hindu caste system. And her position was that everybody is below me. Anybody I can catch over here and hold up in my home, I'm going to catch. These people are third world mentality. I don't know what these 2 people are doing or how they got to this point or what their backgrounds are. Professor, do you know the background of this man?
Well, I don't know a detailed look on the background, but I know the facts of the case, but I'm not sure what his lineage is. That would be interesting to look up. I'm assuming that he's FBA, but what you made me think of when you said that, it's something I've been saying forever. We really have to rethink these religious structures that we get caught up in. Our dear brother, Dr. John Henry Clark, says all religions created by the white man are the handmaidens of conquest. And, they're made for control. And when you look further into the Department of Justice, their attorney's indictment, according to the indictment, Taylor and Brennan required their victims to work in the call centers for long hours without pay or to perform other services for Taylor. Taylor set up an unattainable daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly monetary donation goals for victims in the working call center and required victims to follow the orders he created without question. That right there, that sounds like that shit Christopher Columbus was doing in the name of God. You know what I'm saying? Giving people if y'all recall, Christopher Columbus, when he was in what's now called Haiti, he required the Arawaks to come up with a certain quota of pieces of gold. And if they didn't, he would cut their hands off and make them parade them around as victims in the name of religion. According to the DOJ, if victims disobeyed an order or failed to reach his monetary goals, Taylor and Brennan punished the victims with public humiliation, additional work, food and shelter restrictions. He wouldn't feed them. What kind of shit is that? Psychological abuse, forced repentance, sleep deprivation, physical assaults, and threats of divine judgment in the form of sickness, accidents, and eternal damnation. Why do we keep falling for this shit? Are human beings are we slow or something? Why do we keep falling for the same shit for hundreds and thousands of years? But I'm going to look into his lineage, Warner.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I don't know why people are falling for it other than the 0 to 5. And then there's a few reasons. 0 to 5, when you're indoctrinated by your grandmother and mother and father. And then there's also the team mentality will kick in. Oh, I'm on this team. I'm not on the Muslim team. I'm not on the Jewish team. So you get a team mentality. You begin to, silently compete with the other religions. And you don't want to, get out of it, because then you feel like, well, you've connected the religion to God. So you feel like if I don't believe in it this way, then I don't believe in God. People have really deeply connected these filters, which are really just ways of looking at it. They've connected that to God. So if someone like me says, no, I'm culturally Christian, but I'm not a Christian. I don't, the religions and these man-altered books just don't sit right with me. I mean, after actually reading it, it actually sits very wrong with me. If I say that, then their brains connect that, oh, you don't believe in God. No, I didn't say that. I don't believe in this filter that is being used to connect with it. So it is a little bit different for people to try to unravel when you get indoctrinated. And, some people just go totally left. And then they get into, when they reject religion, say their grandmothers or mothers force them to go to church, and they feel resentful, then they go all the way left and, think that they should do everything against it, which is also harmful to them. So I think people need some guidance on how to think about the Creator and everything around them, because human beings have been thinking about, where do we come from? What's up there in the sky? Can we change our reality? Maybe if we pray to the sun or the moon, things will be better for the crops. People have been thinking these thoughts from the beginning. So there must be something to it. If the earliest humans looked to something else, they never just said, yep, this is it. This is our life. They always knew there's something else going on. Every hominid that you can think of knew that something was going on where you came from. Something was going to go on after you died. You see, in these caves, you can see these complex ideas. The fact of how they bury people, or what they think about things happening after they die, and they might be totally wrong. Like, I think the Egyptians are wrong. I don't think you need to protect your body and have all this mummification. But hey, if they want to do it, fine. But I don't believe the body is important. But they do. And they do. I mean, they had cats mummified, all kinds of animals mummified. So they found value in it that I just don't think is valuable. I don't think the human body has value in terms of protecting it to that degree. But human beings have been, well, doing rituals in caves even before Homo sapiens. Hominids have been, praying to things and saying that mountains were special and just revering things because they are looking for something outside of their daily routine. So it's not stupid to believe in things, but sometimes you can be tricked into it because that's a vulnerability that human beings have. They're wanting to connect to something and to find out what's happening after they die.
Yeah, that's very true, Wani. And I've always thought that the body is not as important as we think it is. Outside of the experience I had a NDE. I talk about some near death experience, an out of body experience. We'll talk about that later. But I've always thought, even as a child, I wondered if the body was so important. Why is it that when your nails grow and you cut them, they're like discarded? It's just like the body is a tool. When your skin sheds, it's like discarded and it turns back to dust. We are a lot of spiritual leaders. I didn't say religious. I said spiritual leaders say that we are not our body. This body is not us. And I really didn't understand that notion until I got in a situation where, like a combat situation, where I had an out of body experience. And for a moment, for the fleeting moment, I got scared outside of my body and thought, like, where's my body? And I wiggled my fingers and toes and they were still there. So this body, I don't know. Sometimes I feel it's like the movie Avatar, like we're really somewhere else controlling this. And a lot of metaphysicians and David Brenner, the NDE guy, said that we're somewhere else controlling this body. Well, back to
what was that study you said that they said we were somewhere else?
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. University of Pennsylvania, Penn, the Ivy League school, spent hundreds of millions of dollars. Their school of psychology. This is maybe about 15 years ago, 16 years ago. They did this massive study to find. It was a sleep study because when you go into is it REM sleep? When you go into deep sleep, your brain waves almost seemingly, they don't flatline, but they go real close to a flat line. And Penn wanted to find out, it was called the consciousness study. And Penn wanted to find out, where do we go? The premise of the study was to find out what's the nature of consciousness. And they wanted to find out, where do you go when you go to sleep? And do you know, with all that money, all that prestige, their results were inconclusive. They found out something. They were begging the question that the Egyptians answered. The Egyptians say that every time you go to sleep, you die, and you return to your body when you wake up. That's what the book Coming Forth by Day and Night is all about. It's about you. The Egyptians said that this life that we're living right now, this conversation that we're having, this realm is a dream. And the Egyptians said that the real realm, the actual us, is when we're asleep. We just can't remember it.
Check this out. I met a lunatic, and before I found out he was a full lunatic, I was listening to something he was saying about dreaming, because I studied sleep and dreams, and this type of science is interesting to me. And he said that when he went to sleep, he remembered all of the stuff that was going on, and it was almost like his life over here, but slightly off, slightly different. So yeah, there was a me over there, and there was everything, but it was just kind of different. Some of the jobs were different. Some of the jobs he would be doing in the future, he was already doing it, but he never was asleep. he was never asleep. So he'd wake up on this side, do this stuff. Then when he would go to sleep, he'd be awake on the other side. And that's not normal. You're not you have to rest. You can't just be living 24 hours a day. So that's why he's a lunatic and a very dangerous person to be around.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say something that I heard. I had a doctor who I told her I drink valerian tea, and she was like, "You don't have vivid dreams," and or nightmares or night terrors or whatever. Something she said. I said, "Ma'am, I always have vivid dreams."
Lucid, you mean?
No, vivid. She was
vivid.
No, she asked me, "Did I have vivid dreams?" And I was like, ma'am, I always have vivid dreams. Like, they're insane, crazy. I'll never forget I was being chased by an alligator in one of my dreams. And real weird stuff will happen in my dreams, and I'm always trying to figure out what they mean. And I forgot who I was listening to discussing dreams or whatever, so I just come across different people's pages on TikTok or YouTube or whatever. I don't always save everything off. But somebody was saying about dreams, sometimes what your brain is trying to do is overcompensate when you go from realm to realm. And so what your brain will try to do is the things that seem weird in the dream is your brain trying to make sense of whatever is happening in that other realm. So it's like in the other realm, something is happening that you're trying to equate to this realm. So I may have been being chased by an alligator, and my brain said it's an alligator that's chasing you. It could have been something totally different happening in that other realm, but the only thing that my brain could, when I woke up and remember, was an alligator. So I was like, I'm fascinated by dreams as well and what that means, or what dreams mean, because I'm like, some of the things that happen in my dreams are extremely weird. And I'm like, why is this happening? And I'm like, I don't feel anything happens by chance or coincidence. So I never think that things that happen in my dreams are by chance or coincidence. I just don't know what they mean.
How often do you have these vivid dreams?
All the time. Mostly all my dreams. Like, there are sometimes I'll dream and I'll forget things, but there are times like I'll have a dream and it'll be a dream in what looks like a house that I used to live in. And parts of the house will look like the house, but then there'll be other things that are different. Or there will be people that I've come across throughout this lifetime, and it'll be a random person. Like, I remember one dream I had recently. It was like people from high school, people that I don't even deal with. Like, a dream I recently had was like a graduation ceremony. And I'm like, why am I dreaming about a graduation ceremony? Why am I dreaming about people that I went to high school with? Like, there'll be things from the past, people that I don't even know these people. I just know we crossed paths at a point and that person's there. And I'm like, well, why is this person here? Or why am I dreaming about an old house? Parts of it, not the whole house itself, but just parts of it. I'll go through the house and something will be different that lets me know this isn't the actual house you used to live in, but it's a reminder of what it used to be. So I'm just like, like I said, a lot of my dreams are very vivid. I'm just like, what does all of this mean?
Well, the Princeton University had a study on consciousness, and they attribute one of their head professors of psychology said that basically we are an avatar. He said that we're puppets on a string from somewhere else, which is the same thing that Brennan said. Brennan said that when he had his out-of-body experience, he realized that we're somewhere else. We're always somewhere else controlling this body like an avatar. So dreams are very interesting, but I think the Egyptians had it right. Like, this is not reality. And a lot of metaphysicians say if this was real, if this realm was real, then nothing would rot. nothing would change because it would be real. I mean, if you think about it, the only constant on this realm in earth is change. And since that's the only constant, nothing can truly be real. It's constantly in change, like it's not valid. If it was real, it wouldn't change. But back to the topic with the guy with David Taylor, Wani, I found his bio, and David Taylor is FBA. He's from Memphis, Tennessee, which makes a whole lot of sense to me. You see, Memphis, Tennessee has I think the first black, if not the first, one of the first black millionaires in America. And the first black millionaire in America became rich off of buying land and having brothels. I'm bringing that up, and I love Memphis. I got a lot of love for Memphis. But there's a culture of pimping in Memphis. Pimping is taken real seriously, but it's not pimping in a sense of West Coast pimping, like the whole suave Mac thing that you find, well, I don't know about now, but you used to find in Oakland. When I was a child in Oakland, you would have like the suave players, you know what I'm saying, that type of game. Memphis is more of a kind of like pimping type place. Y'all seen Hustle and Flow? There are elements of truth in Hustle and Flow. Matter of fact, one of my when I was teaching at Historical Black College in Memphis, I had a parent of a student I kind of bonded with, and he said that Memphis is an acronym that stands for making easy, M-E, making easy money, pimping, pimping hoes and style.
Oh my God. Hoes and what?
In style.
Okie
That's what we know. When I moved to Memphis, I was like, "What's this place all about?" He's like, "Man, this place about making easy money, pimping hoes and style." And it took me a minute. I'm a little slow. It took me a minute to say, "Oh, he just spelled out Memphis." But I'm saying,
is this referring to actual prostitution or pimping everybody on everything?
Well, that's a good question. It may. Well, in his context, he was talking about human trafficking. So it's so weird, y'all. When you drive to Memphis, from Birmingham or from the east, it's one highway that takes you. This Highway 22, and it's the strangest thing on the planet because the speed limit is like 70 miles an hour, and it's in Mississippi.
Black students, we need to know our history.
The black history we're being taught in public schools is repetitive.
As a black high school student, I want to learn more about my history in the school books.
We need to update our books.
As black American students, we deserve an accurate depiction of what black history truly is.
I want to see myself in these textbooks.
In the public school system, black history is vague.
Why don't the school books ever talk about the Freedmen's Bureau?
I created the workbook for the African American family. This book helps fill in the gaps that the school books don't. Purchase the workbook for the African American family on ourstorypublications.com and use the Cash App, $Our Story Publications.